Hello, you beautiful, glorious people. I'm Crispy WT, and today I'm going to be taking you through Rogue Tower from Wave 1 to Wave 45, and I'm going to show you how to beat it and what to do at each stage. I'm going to split this down into 3 little videos. The first video, which you're watching right now, is Wave 1 to 15. What you need to be doing, what you need to be thinking about, what to consider. Then there'll be Part 2, Wave 15 to 30, and finally Part 3, which is Wave 30 to Wave 45. Pretty basic. Waves 1 to 15 is where we are right now, and although it's not a hard set of waves, let's be honest, you should not be losing within this part. The decisions you make now will pretty much determine whether or not you can beat Wave 45. It's around the cards you pick and how you're setting up your map. So this is what we've started with. Just started single lane, and we're going to start off by putting some ballistas down, very importantly, around the houses. Now, the houses are often horribly overlooked. These guys give you an overwhelming amount of money in the long run. You do want to be putting things around them. Whenever you have an opportunity to put a ballista or any tower technically, but ballistas are cheap, around a house, put them around the house. That'll drastically help your income. Now that's the first tip. Don't ignore the houses. They are valuable. You can ignore other things, and I'll go through what you can ignore. The houses are not one of them. We'll start off expanding. There's nothing really too drastic we need to worry about. Cool. Okay. So decision 1. With the cards that you're picking, from levels 1 to 15, we need to think about what we need now. Not necessarily what we need in future, what we need now. And from waves 1 to 15, there are no shields. All you're going to deal with is a lot of health and a lot of armor. So what we need to do is we need to basically focus on nothing but ballistas and possibly flamethrowers. Any opportunity to get your economy up and running. So getting banditry, key. Get banditry. Outside of that, upgrade your ballistas, upgrade your flamethrowers. That's about it. We don't want to purchase towers we don't need. Don't purchase things like the particle cannon or the obelisk, or even necessarily don't purchase the poison sprayer. You're not going to be using them, and as soon as you purchase them, every time you get the option to pick a card, you're going to be provided with options for upgrades for those cards, which you're not going to be using. You don't need it, so don't waste your time. Stick to the basic things, and we can only hope that we get a little bit lucky, because you can come fully prepared, you can know what you need to do, and still you can lose because you get absolutely crap cards. So, sorcery is one which maybe we'll have to get. It's not what we want to get because we don't need it yet. But in the long run, that will be key. You do need a lot of mana. Post level 30, it's going to really start ramping up. Crits, late game, very good. Crits are important, but right now, no. Fortification is the word, and we'll never get it. It's a waste of time. If little mobs are hitting your tower, you're losing. You've lost. Try harder. So don't bother upgrading it. University is quite good, but I'm not going to get it. Flamethrower. And mortar. Mortar's pretty good. It is good, but the flamethrower is better. And like I said, we want ballistas and flamethrowers. So actually, I've been quite lucky so far. I'm going to put a ballista up here. I'm not going to get flamethrowers quite yet. Anything which is damage over time, you need the damage to be inflicted much earlier. If it's getting damage here, it's already right near the end. We're going to expand. And what have I already said? When you see a little house, you put things around the house. So I'm going to first get my upgrade. We have a quick look. We could get the poison sprayer, but we're not going to because we don't need to. Probably not going to get a mortar yet. I'm never going to get a mine. Overwhelming waste of time. Repairing your tower, like anything that's going to get to your tower. Don't bother. Things like slow but sure are good in the long run, but not now. Like I said, we're not getting a poison sprayer, so we're not going to waste time getting poison stuff. It's pointless. So we're effectively left with 2 options here. And they are both for the ballista, solid choice, and they're actually both good ones. Health and armor. I'm actually going to start off getting armor. Now, for most towers, so things like flamethrower, fire does a lot of damage against armor. So get the armor upgrades, not the shield upgrades for the flamethrower. Vice versa, for the poison spray, you get the upgrades to make it do damage to shields, not to armor, because it's not what it's there for. So we're going to get this, and that's a little bit more damage to the armor. And we're going to get a couple of these down here. Perfect. And we've not split yet, which is good. When we split the lanes, that's kind of the next key decision and the area you need to focus on, really. Cool, cool, cool. We've also got a lot of gold, which we will be spending soon, don't worry, but I want to kind of get a little bit further away from the house before we do that. We can see banditry. That is one of the greatest cards in the game, which we'll get to in a second. Starting off with the radar, we don't need it. It's a new tower. It's not one we're going to get. It can be useful, but we don't need it, so we're not going to waste our time with it. Encampment, I would say better than the radar, but for cheese, there's a couple of fun cheese strats you can just build and overpower it, but we're not going to be cheating here. We're just going to complete it in the proper way. Broadhead bolts are very good. Tower lookout, nope. And mine, definitely never. Never, never, never. So it's really banditry or broadhead bolts. Little clue, it's definitely banditry because gold. Above all, you need gold. And like I said before already, if things are hitting your tower, you've lost anyway, so why do we care if it does more damage to the tower? We'll get that. Cool. Already we're getting some good money, and so far it's not split, fingers crossed. Hasn't split again. This is a wonderful start. If you get a run where it starts splitting off this early, you're in a bit of a pickle. It's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. So we're going to get a couple of these, and you know what, we're going to start really building up in this area, I think, and get some flamethrowers down. We still have a bit of gold, like I said, but we're going to probably expand now and then spend everything. You don't want to be holding too much gold. If you have loads of gold, basically your towers aren't down, and if they're not down, they're not getting experience, so buy towers. Building a mine. Would never be building a mine. It's stupid. Banditry level 2. This is going to be a good run, I think. That's what we want to see. Heavy shafts 2, also damn good. Shredder is good. We will get the shredder at some point. Little tip for this part, parts 1 to 15, you kind of get to learn the basics. Damage over time towers. So the shredder, the poison spewer, and the flamethrower, fantastic. You want as much damage over time as possible. You want all of the little guys running along to be bleeding, to be on fire, and to be poisoned. We won't get fortification. I'm not going to bother with the radar. I could get shredder, and I would like the shredder, but banditry's come up, so we'll always take that opportunity. And I'm going to expand once more just to see, and then I'm going to start building all, putting down all the gold there. I am actually, you know what, I'm going to put this guy in first. One flamethrower. The first flamethrower. Well, we know the rules. We put them down. So this is a good little spot. We're going to keep going until we properly expand out, but this is, you know, it's one area where it folds back on itself, which is what we really want to see. Let's have a look. Heavy shafts 2, still good. Obelisk, good. One we will want, but not yet. We don't need that until level 30 odds. So if you buy it now, you're going to continuously get presented with cards for it, which you're not going to want, and it's going to prevent you from getting the cards you do want. Namely, Broadhead Bolts is a good one. Binder Bank, it's not great. If we need it, maybe, but later on, mana will become big, but we don't need it for a while. Similar to Sorcery. It is good, actually. Sorcery I do like, but you don't need it for a long while. Levels 1 to 15, we focus on ballistas and flamethrowers and getting gold. It's a little bit short, is good, but again, we're not poisoning yet. It's level 5, we don't need poison, so that's fine. So really, there's two options, Broadhead Bolts or Heavy Shafts. And I'm probably going to go for Heavy Shafts this time. Once you've got Heavy Shafts up enough, doing armor damage, additional armor damage from your towers, they get the option to increase the range. That's what we're working towards. You want the health damage and the armor damage. You don't need the shield damage. But once you get the health damage increases, you get the option to have your blisters slow. And if you get the armor damage, you get the option for their range to increase. Both of those are huge. You want them both. And we're still not splitting. This is a long run before it splits, which is good, which is genuinely very good. We don't really want to put down too much until it splits, because the first time we get a split where we get multiple lanes, that's where you're going to really start piling in as many turrets. That's your kill zone, because that's where multiple streams start piling into one area, and you don't want to be spreading resources out across numerous areas, so put all towers into one little crazy point. Cool. What's next? Mana Siphon, potentially good. We do need mana in the long run. Shredder, potentially good. Obelisk, not yet. Sorcery, not yet. Frostkeep, not yet. Maybe at some point down the line, but not till way at the end of the game. So right now, Heavy Shafts does seem like the good option, right? And it probably is. Shredder, I'm tempted by. This is actually a bit of a tricky one. getting the shredder is not bad, but we're still pretty early. So let's just stick with this for now, I think. And we're going to expand again. Here we go. So this is what we've been looking for. The first time it splits out. Now, we know between level 1 to 15, when we're picking cards, we try and focus on getting the gold, number 1 priority, get ballista upgrades, and then work on the flamethrower. There's a lot of armor stuff coming, so you need to make sure that you have the flamethrowers there to really deal with that armor. Beyond that, it's placing things down around the houses until you get to your first split. This is your kill zone. This is where we're going to put everything. Everything here and up here, so absolutely everything is going to come through this one area. So we're going to pile everything on there as much as possible. And there's quite a bit of high ground, so we're good. Let me quickly find something here. Never a haunted house. It's a trap. It's horrible. Mortars are good, but flaming bolts are a maybe. But we've seen what we want. This is one of the reasons why we really get the armor upgrades. Not only is it a good upgrade, but it opens up the ability to get ballista range +2. That's huge. That is big. And this little guy, this guy can just about see over there, right? With this, boom, that guy can now see way over here. He can actually start shooting this last little bit. That's massive. And we can get another upgrade. We're going to get loads of those. Ballistas are key throughout the whole game. They're so important. So the upgrades for them, getting their range, getting them to slow things down, you really, really want. And we see a house, so we're going to put some ballistas down. But first, we've got our first kind of, like I said, the proper split. So this is where we're going to really pile up the towers, the damage over time, flamethrowers, poison spears, shredders, the whole lot. We're going to chuck it all in here. And we are going to, obviously, put a couple of you down. And then I'm going to probably put another one of you up here. I'm not going to use this, take up this 3. There's a 3 here. And there's a 2, 1s, and a 1. I'm going to save that 3, and I'm probably going to save the 2, because in the long run, way down the line, I'm going to have maybe a Tesla tower here and a Frostkeep, for example. But we're not going to be building those yet, because we don't need them. Cool. So, level 7, we're in a very good place. We've minimized the amount of towers we've bought or have access to, which means we're not going to get a wide array of upgrades. We're going to stick to the upgrades for these. It is a much more efficient way of doing it. The next part, and it's kind of key aspect which you need to think about throughout the rest of the run, the whole way through to level 45, is what to do when you get splits, whether it's a 3 or a 2. And the key thing you need to remember is if minions from all 3 of these lanes are coming into your little kill zone at the same time, you're screwed. You're probably lost again. You won't have enough towers to kill everything. Even with the kind of area of effect stuff, your ballistas, your long term, your particle shredders, all those things, you're not going to have enough to cover everything. So you need to stagger these. That's one of the most important parts. And if you don't do that, you probably won't even reach level 45. So we make one, say this is ground 0. We'll expand 1 to here, so that's 1 point away from ground 0. Then we'll expand this one and keep going till it's 3 or 4 away. And this one will be 7 or 8 away. So that way, by the time this guy gets here, everything from here has already been killed. So your towers are free to just focus on these. And then once they're dead, they'll come in. Hopefully that makes sense. As I go through, I will demonstrate it a bit more. I've mostly expanded this way so I can get access to the other side of the house. But you see what I mean? Because I expanded this, these 2 are coming in first, and we're killing them. By the time they're dead, then this third one comes in. So we're going to keep doing that, basically. We're going to really space these out. And that's pretty much the entire run. It's just decision making early on. You focus on getting your ballistas and your armor damage up. You space the lanes out, and then later on you start worrying about shields. But there's no shields until level 15, so we're all good. Mana Siphon again. We don't need that yet. We don't need it for a while, but you don't want to not have it in the long run, so be careful. Okay, here's the first kind of useful tower trap. We need the flamers. They're really important. But we don't want flamers to be doing shield damage, really. We want it, but that is not their priority. These guys are here to do armor damage. See? 10. Shield, 3. Bad. 10. Good. So upgrading these guys to do additional damage to shield is not what we want. And it's not just about this here. Because damage is damage, really. Surely it would make a difference. It does. What you may not know, and it doesn't immediately make it obvious to you, is armor takes less damage from poison. So if you have something with armor and it goes through the armor first before the health or before anything else. Whatever's at the front is damaged first. If you're doing poison damage or bleed damage, it takes half damage, and it takes full damage from fires, from flame. Vice versa is the same. When shields rock about, you don't really want to be doing fire damage to them because that takes half damage. They take 100% damage from poison. So you want the poison for the shields, the fire for the armor. Nice and simple. Stick to that, and generally good. Like late game, get it if you've got nothing else, but we don't want to be focusing on that. Health, not really either. We can do if there's nothing else, but it's not really ideal. Lookout, definitely not. Broadhead bolts is good, as are both of these, but for now, broadhead bolts. We've got the range, and once we get this one leveled up, the health damage, we'll be able to get the slow as well. So right, what we're then going to do is I'm probably then going to expand here again. Once I've done that, I'll do this one. I know these are two at the same time, which is not good, but because we're still so early on in the game, I'm not really threatened by this yet. We're level 6, we're good. There's a long way for them to go, a lot of ballistas to get past. Not worried at the moment. But now that we've got to this stage, now we can probably expand one of these out. Cool, next card. Napalm. Maybe, probably not. Tower, Shredder. Strong maybe. Oh, then again. And we've been presented with white phosphorus again, and like I've just said, we're not going to get it. It's not ideal. Longbow 2, blister range +2, good. Burn damage for blisters is pretty good as well. Anything which is blister damage, they do additional burn damage, they do additional poison damage, is good purely because we're going to have so damn many of them. Sorcery is also good, but level 9, our mana's fine. So yeah, we're going to get +2 range. Now look, where were we with this guy? This guy can now reach over here. This one tower could originally just reach past this bit of land. With one upgrade, he made it to there. Now, this guy can shoot even further. He's covered this whole area as well now. Ballista range is huge. This ballista, right at the very beginning. In fact, the first ballistas I put down are now going to get, they're going to be shooting this lane. They're shooting up there, for God's sake. That is good. That's what we want. We're going to expand, and you know what? I may even shut down another flamethrower, which may seem excessive, but it does seem to be happening. Yeah. We want that damage number to go as high as possible. We'll eventually slow things down in this area, so we can really ramp up the fire damage and the poison damage and the bleed damage. We'll get that number as high as possible, so as they run around it, the rest of the way to the tower, it's going to keep ticking over and over and over again. Boom. Level 10. Done. Easy. And we get another choice. Radar tower? No, not going to get that. Poison sprayer, we could get that. I don't think I'm going to get it quite yet. No, Shredder's first. After level 15, you really want a poison sprayer. And there is always a risk if you don't get it now, it won't turn up when you need it. But I think we're going to be okay. We've got quite a few other opportunities first. This is good. This is good. They're there to deal burn damage, increasing that damage. Positive. But we do want this. We're not going to get this. We will get that, but we don't need it yet. No poison sprays. Common sense. Just think these kind of decisions through. Remember, level 1 to 15, ballistas, flamethrowers. Maybe things like a shredder, maybe a mortar, probably not so much. Shredder's good though. Like I said, it's the damage over time, and bleed damage is one of the damage over times. I'm going to put you... I'll put you there for now. Okay. And now I can properly show you this. So again, this tile, 0.0. When the game starts, immediately we have minions coming in here. So immediately, and all of your towers are attacking these minions because they're already there. By the time this one gets in, which is one space away, hopefully the most of these are dead. And by the time this guy gets in, they're all definitely dead. So that's how you need to start staggering each of your lanes. That is one of the most important aspects of this. Ideally, having a good 3 tiles between each lane. Can't always get that depending on where your splits come, but we'll see. For now, I'm going to do that. And then we have a 0, a 2, and a 3. I'll probably expand the 3 out then, so we have like a 0, a 2, and a 4. And we really start kind of increasing the gap between them. And if you're wondering why I expanded up here and down here, not out here, it's purely because I will probably do 1 out here, but if we're going to drag things out further, we should probably drag them back on themselves, so we can get more effect, more kind of value out of all the towers we're putting here. Next choice. Good. Pyrochemistry is a good option. White phosphorus. It really wants us to pick it, isn't it? It's not going to happen, so fuck that. Frostkeep Tower is good, but no. Not yet. Tower Lookout, no. So really we have Pyrochemistry, Thrashing, and Mana Siphon. You know what? I really like Pyrochemistry and Thrashing, but our mana is a little bit down. And as time goes on, that's going to go down and down and down until at one point we will start getting in a pickle. So let's get this now. Don't always need that early, but we do need to make sure we have a good amount of mana. So I'll put just a couple down and see how that works. I'm going to expand. Which one do we want longer? So this is 0. So it's 1, 2 this way, and then 1, 2 this way. Is that correct? Yeah, not 3. I'm going to expand up here purely because I want to get more use out of these guys. And we're getting a bit of gold now. So we've got one shredder, a couple of flamethrowers. I can probably put down one more shredder, which I will. And then a load more ballistas. We've got houses, put ballistas next to them. I think that's pretty, I mean, technically I can do this, and there's no reason to not. Boom. And you're dead. Cool. And I've already seen what I'm going to get, and we know what we're going to get. We're not going to get mine. We're not going to get a radar. We will do at some point. But no, gold. Gold, prioritize gold. Always prioritize gold. The whole way you win this is by building more towers so that we can kill the things. You build the towers with gold. Get more gold. That is so important. Okay. So now, 1, 2, 3. I feel like that's 3. My counting is going to be poor here. 2 or 3, whatever. We'll expand up here. Ooh, and then we'll expand down here. That is the next kind of area which we need to tackle. But actually, we're pretty good because this is 0 and this is 2 or 3. I'm going to say that's 2. So 0, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 before anything gets here. So if we don't expand this and we don't expand this, we're good. You see what's happened? Everything that came from here is already dead. Now everything that's come here is dead before anything that came up here has even reached us yet. So we're just going to leave these two now. These two are done. That's fine. I kind of want to expand this just because immediately it's there, but it's probably fine. Cool. What will we pick next? Blades. Health is good. Like I said, the fire guys, flamers, are here to do damage to armor, primarily. Poison, here to deal damage to shields, primarily. Your shredders are here to deal damage to the health. They're here to deal bleed damage. So health damage is what we want for them, and bleed damage. Burn damage from them is good. Ooh, but crit damage is key. Now, that's good. That's can be good in the long run. We may need to do that in the late game, but we don't need to do it now. Everything else here is actually really good. This is a good selection. It's a shame it's all come at once because we can't pick it all. But crits, very good. The opportunity to make your ballistas do crit damage is great. Late game with the shredders, you can get the option to do crits to everything that's bleeding, and everything will be bleeding, so you get that one as well. What we've done, we're going to keep these here. We're going to look up and start dealing with this horrible monstrosity up here. What we're going to do is our mana's fine. We're going to get some flamethrowers probably. We don't want to put too much up here because it's going to ignore everything coming from here and here. This is still the key, but what we can do probably is put a flamethrower up here. That's going to have the range, everything's coming around here, and it's going to start really dealing with a lot of everything up here. This whole area around here, if you think about it, everything will eventually go along this path. So it's going to go past here, but it's also going to be attacking stuff from up here. So we are in a pretty good spot, and I'm going to chuck a very aggressive shredder right there. Got a bit of gold left. Let's put down some ballistas. Try not to have too much gold just sitting there because, again, it's not getting experience. Oh, a house. And what do we do with houses? We put ballistas next to them. That's another ballista. And these aren't in a bad spot. It's not shooting things from here, but everything coming there, it's going to get some early shots in, and then when it comes around, because we've increased the range of it, because of the armor upgrades, we'll get them as well. Our mana is all good. It's not going to change till we put down some more flamers. And we're at level 14, so we are about to hit level 15, which means we need to start worrying about poison, but not yet. There's a big guy we've got to deal with first. I'm sure you all know who that is. Thrashing, bleed damage, good. Nitric acid, good, because it's a flamer for armor, yeah. Haunted house, crap, never. Particle cannon is really good, but we're level 14, about to hit level 15, we're not using that. Encampment I'm not going to bother with. Mana bank, maybe if I have to. So really it's one of these two. Increased bleed damage is pretty great, to be honest with you, so I'm probably going to go for that. Yep. And I'm going to put down a couple of these guys just because we know what's about to rock up. I'm going to put that down there. You getting... No, you're not. It has to be on the exact level, which is a shame. There we go. So you're now protected by 3 towers. What happens next is a lovely chap by the name of Oogie will rock up. Here he is. And he's the first, I guess, threat you're going to come across. If you've been following this so far, I'm really focusing on ballistas, flamethrowers, staggering your lanes, then you should be fine. We'll keep an eye on him, but I'm relatively confident we won't see any issues here. These guys are getting levels up, which is great. I'm also not focusing too much about prioritizing things. If you need to, you can get towers to prioritize targeting armor, but the amount of flamethrowers we've got, 4 at the moment, we'll probably chuck another one down soon. Again, I'm not too worried about that. I don't think we need to worry. As you can see, it's not even hit ground 0, and pretty much everything's dead. So, in fact, will everything die before ground 0? Technically no. There's a little line there, so I can't quite say it. What we've done is we've got to level 15 without anything going wrong. No sweat, really easy. We've taken out Oogie, and we'll quickly make one final choice, and then we'll move on to part 2, where it gets a little bit trickier. Final choice though. Damage to shields, I'm not too bothered by for the blisters. Maybe I'll pick that later on, because any upgrade for the blisters is a good upgrade, just due to the amount we have. Oh, the timing though. The timing, I think I can't turn this down, and mine is crap. I'm not going to get a university. I'm not going to get a radar. This is good. Broadhead bolts is a very good one. We do want that. But the poison sprayer. We're hitting level 15, so now we do need to start worrying about shield. Before we do anything, we'll pick up our treasure for killing Oogie. Oh, I mean, that could be, yeah, that's pretty great, right? Oh, then again, I'm not too bothered by the mortar at the moment. Maybe we'll get it. Having more towers actually isn't a bad thing. Each time you build a duplicate tower, each time you build an additional poison sprayer again and again, the cost goes up. So rather than having to build more and more flamethrowers, I could build a mortar and be a lot more cost effective. But we're not going to worry right yet. Right now, we're probably going to go either bleed them dry, because increasing the damage per second is huge for the poison, the bleed, the fire, increase that up, or spores. So poison sprayers gain 50% poison damage. We're about to start going heavy on poison sprayers, let me tell you. So yeah, why not? There we go. And what we've done is we've hit level 15 without any sweat. We've beaten it. We've beaten Oogie. We're in a really good place. This is ground 0 where everything's going to rock up to. We're going to surround this with flamers, poison sprayers, obscene amount of blisters. Like I said, I'm probably going to leave a couple here to put down some frost keeps and Tesla arcs to really slow everything down in this horrible pit of death. I still want to expand this a little bit. I don't like it being a 0. I want to have one kind of proper area, because these guys have range, so they can start shooting earlier. It's a bit of a waste. But I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. But what we're going to be doing in part 2 is continuing separating out the distances between each of the lanes, and really focusing a lot more on mana damage before we hit level 30, which is a big jump in difficulty. But that's fine. Continue watching through, and you'll be smashing level 45 without any issues. Appreciate everything. There'll be a link to watch part 2 in the video. And please like and subscribe. As always, there's going to be a boatload more of this coming and a load more games. As appreciated as always, I'm Crispy WT, and I will see you again soon.